Hey everybody, it's Father Casey, the pastor of the Epiphany of our Lord Church, welcoming you once again to our YouTube channel, The Fourth Magi. Do you have humility? Or do you think humility is humiliation? In this week's gospel, Jesus teaches a lesson about humility. He's been invited to a Pharisee's home for dinner, or it's some important, like a banquet kind of deal. And he knows when he comes into the home, all eyes are on him because they hate him and they want to see him trip up. They want to catch him at something so they can get rid of him any way they can because he's a problem. So Jesus turns it back on them and tells a parable about a wedding, and that when people come to a wedding, you should always take the lowest seat at a banquet, at a wedding. And then when the host comes in and says, "My friend, why are you sitting so far away? You should be sitting at this part of the table, which has more honor." Well, then everyone looks at him and, "Ooh, he must be important." Because everybody likes to feel important. And the lesson is about humility. It's about knowing your place. It's about not thinking too much of yourself, which is what the Pharisees did. The Pharisees loved to dress up in the outfits of Pharisees. They wore the outfits that made them look important, and they liked to strut around the town looking like an important Pharisee. And they loved the greeting, they would receive, "Oh, Rabbi," and they would, probably get free stuff, and they would get discounts and favors, and also, and Jesus says, when you come into any kind of a social setting, don't think too much of yourself, that someone's going to embarrass you and say, "No, you're really not that important. I'm going to tell you and show you how important you really are," and then you get moved down the table, as he says in the gospel. Because humility is knowing our place. It's not thinking too much of ourselves and thinking more of others. Now, that being said, Jesus also tells us another lesson in the gospel, and that is, what are your motives when you help someone? Like, don't help someone or do something for someone because they can pay you back. Because that's really not helping them. It's really an investment and hoping to get paid back later, maybe handsomely. A quid pro quo. I scratch your back, you scratch my back. And Jesus says, beware of that kind of behavior. That lacks humility. You're just helping one another. You're helping your cronies, your buddies. You're doing a favor, they'll do a favor for you. Now, Jesus says, help those who cannot pay you back. Because then your motive is simply to help them, and that's it. To do the right thing. And that's what Jesus wants us to do. That's to be our motive. So we must check our motives, when we help people. There was a parishioner in this parish who gave a lot of money, very generous, and that person thought that by giving the money to the parish, which helped pay a lot of bills, no question here, but they thought that because they gave all this money, that they could do whatever they wanted, and they could do things carte blanche, and buy things, and they started to try to make changes to the structure of the church. And I had to come to the person and say, well, no, you don't get to do that, because I'm the pastor and I'm the one who has the vision of what happens with the structure of the church. And the person turned to me and said, and this is the warning about people who are generous, after all I've done for you. And I said, well, all you've done for the parish, you didn't do it for me, you did it for the parish, but that doesn't give you the right to do whatever you want. But that's what can happen with people who give, who do favors. They think that they are owed something back. And Jesus says, no, do things where people cannot give them back to you. That's a pure generosity, a pureness of heart. And that keeps us safe and humble. Because if you're doing things for people anonymously, or you're doing them for people who you know can't do anything back for you, well, then your generosity is pure of heart. And that's what Jesus looks for us. It keeps us humble. We're not looking to be puffed up. We're not looking to feel self-important. We're not looking to be numero uno. We're simply looking to do the right thing for the right reason. So this week, let's make a point to check our motives. Why are we doing what we're doing? Are we doing it for the reason that Jesus asked us, or are we looking for something more? God bless you and have a great week.